Well, to talk to us more about coronavirus variants, Jan Cedric Hansen of the Global Health Security Alliance joins us. He's equally a member of the French Society for Disaster Medicine. Jan, thanks for speaking to France 24 this evening. We're hearing a lot about these new variants, whether it's, from the UK, South Africa or Brazil. How worried should we be, or do we need to just accept that there are going to be more variants to come?
The second part is the truth. We have to face the fact that viruses do mutate. Anything that has a genetic code, a virus, a human being, has mutations. Most of the mutations are silent mutations because they are in the very tiny parts of the genes that are not useful for everyday behavior of the human being or the virus. But some mutations occurs on critical parts of the gene, and therefore they may drastically change the behavior of the virus. Until now, we don't have such mutations ongoing. So far, we have identified them. So that's why the WHO encourages every country to practice more sequencing of the virus that are spreading on their territories.
I mean,
this is the reason, because sequencing allows to identify mutations. Yes.
I mean, Jan, sorry to cut you there. I mean, this is, very interesting. We'd like to ask you a few questions on this. So far to date, when we speak about, the Brazil variant, the UK, South Africa, are we saying then that ultimately, for the time being, the current coronavirus vaccines will work against this too?
So far, yes, because the solution we have chosen is very smart. We have chosen to use the genetic code, the exact genetic code, the RNA, messenger RNA that codes for the protein, and the protein is very wide and complex. So tiny change in tiny parts are not relevant so far. And if we had to face a huge mutation, it would be very easy to reformulate the vaccine and make the appropriate change on the RNA messenger in order for him to reflect the mutation. So we have a very nice tool available with the new generation of vaccines, because we will be able to adapt easily to the mutation should they occur. I mean, the dreadful mutations. So it will be just a question of a few weeks to adapt to the virus, if any.
So a few weeks there to adapt. I'd like to get your thoughts, Jan, if you will, on kind of borders closing. You'll have seen the UK today closing its borders to people specifically coming from South America and Portugal. I mean, do you think that this kind of closing down of borders is an effective tool? I mean, is this something which we're going to keep seeing?
It is likely, but it is a very critical question. Closing a border will limit the spread of a specific strain or a specific variant into a country if the variant hasn't already reached the country. But if the variant is already circulating in the country, closing the border will not help. Right now, what we need to do is not focus too much on the variants. We have to monitor them, but we should not focus too much our attention on them. We should focus on limiting the spread of the virus as a whole, because right now the threat on the health population is really the fact that the coronavirus, the COVID-19, is spreading, whatever the variant. And this is what we should focus on. And closing the border can be an emergency measure, but for a short time, that may be a way to limit for one time the spread. But it is more important to focus on wearing a mask, social distancing, washing hands, and mopping all the surfaces as soon as possible and as often as possible. Those are really the good measures to prevent the spread of the virus while the vaccination is on its way. And as soon as we have 60% of the population vaccinated, then we will no more have an epidemic. We will have sporadic cases, but we will not be undergoing the epidemic as we have right now.
OK, Jan Cedric Hansen of the Global Health Security Alliance. It's been really interesting getting your insight today on those variants. Thank you for your time.